All right, y'all. It's time for Living in Christ Radio Ministries with Pastors Rashid by Ethan Anthony Burrell, and I'm the man behind the microphone, Big Man Kelly. Happy Monday, Pastor Burrell. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I had on my University of Miami jacket earlier that had some green in it.
I go and say I don't see no
I
green.
got some green in my wallet.
Hey.
Somebody came up to me earlier at school to my, I got a picture. You ain't got on the green. I said, let me take my wallet out.
I know that's right.
Let me show you a little bit. I always have some green on me. So, man, you know what an interesting weekend we've had here with 45, 47.
Crazy.
Well, crazy, but listen, again, I got to go back to the man said what he was going to do. And he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. So nothing surprises me at this point. There are no surprises. There is no surprise that, as he said, let's go back to when he said that he could stand, what was it, in the middle of Park Avenue and shoot somebody and get away with. He's doing that now. Let's keep in mind that he went to the Supreme Court and wanted to assure himself that as the president of the United States, he's untouchable. And that's pretty much, so there is nothing that he will not do. And let me just say this. This is an example of the moral ineptness of this country right now.
Yes, sir.
The fact that the one document in this country that we stand on is the Constitution, day by day is being eaten away. It's being eaten away like the rats have gotten to it. You know, you let something sit and the rats start chomping away at it. The rats are chomping away at it. But again, we said this was going to happen, and they 2025. Oh, I don't know anything about 2025. Come on, man. He's doing everything. But listen, that's neither here nor
all your people, former people, current people, authors of certain sections of it, everything. Well, listen. If you all right with being lied to, God bless you. God bless you. I was just reading today. Looked at some passages of scripture. Revelation 21:8, Revelation 22:15, 1 Corinthians 6, verses 9 through 11. And the point being, God hates lying. God hates lying. In fact, he said liars will have their place in the lake of fire. If you're a child of God and say you one, then you ought to be concerned for a man who's truthfully challenged. He can't tell the truth, you know? So, I mean, hey, if that's who you are and where you are, then I simply say, God bless you. But
well, you know, Pastor Burrell, there's one thing that you said in the midst of that. You said a child of God.
Now, by that, I mean a lot of his followers. You know, they tell me that they're children of God.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I don't find this man I don't find him as a child of God. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, I'm like, folk, not gonna be a judge, but the Bible says you don't find grapes on fig vines, and I'm not a judge, but I'm a fruit inspector, you know. And I've done enough gardening and growing with my dad. We grew up, man, shoot. We literally had a cornucopia of items, you know, cherry trees, apple trees, pear trees. And my dad grew strawberries in a patch, had watermelons, he had cantaloupes. on and on and on and on. And I knew just by experience what kind of tree I was approaching for. I was approaching before I got to it.
Right.
So when I went to pear tree, I grew up eating them old hard, grainy pears. Man, loved it. Man, so a lot of people like those mellow pears that almost like melt in your mouth. No, I like them grainy old jokers, man. My mama,
what you're talking about.
man, my mama would make some pear preserves that make you hurt yourself, boy. You know? So
well, it's the same thing, and Pastor Lonnie mentioned that in his sermon on Sunday about the fruit. Look at the fruit that is coming from the tree. His latest move is that Biden's pardon, they're not real because he didn't use a real pen.
let me help some of our folk with a history lesson. And we don't read. If the only news you get is from your social media feed, and God y'all bless y'all who watch y'all cowardly news. oh, wrong dog. Wolf News, no, Fox News. If that's the only place you get your information, then as folk used to say, consider the source. Yeah, consider the source. Libraries are still open. We've gotten lazy, and to a degree, hey, with a cell phone, Google, Chat GPT, and a guy introduced me yesterday to DeepSeek. Man, you can find out just about anything you want. And I mean, Kelly, in seconds. I ain't talking about no long, giant research. I'm gonna help some of y'all who may not have read this in history, don't remember this, but when the early citizens of this country worked so diligently and assiduously to remove the Native Americans from their land, especially the Cherokee Indians in northern Georgia. And the case went before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled in the favor of the Native Americans. Andrew Jackson famously said, the Supreme Court has made the decision. Now let them enforce it.
Well,
and that's about where we are. Okay.
Well, and the interesting part about that is if the president is controlling the forces that enforce the law, then those who are there in place to make sure that we abide by them as far as setting the rules, and then the branch of the government that is to enforce the rules are now controlled by a dictator, then what happens is the Supreme Court's power is useless.
Right. The judge who ruled that these people had to have had their jobs returned to them by 1 p.m. today. Riding here, coming to the radio station, I listened to a group of women who worked for CDC, Center for Disease Control. And of 506, they still hadn't gotten their jobs back. And it was supposed to had happened no later than 1 p.m. So, what's the enforcement? If a court makes a ruling and a judgment, what's the enforcement to make sure that it happens? Okay,
and that's on the Department of Justice
or anything. Okay, you win a civil suit against somebody, and they tell you the judgment is for $5 million. What are the mechanisms in place to make sure you get your $5 million?
Well, that I do know a little bit about.
Okay.
You can, with that judgment, you can go after the bank account, the finances, the real estate. Matter of fact, I don't know if you remember this case. Remember when people's houses were getting foreclosed on, and Bank of America had made some kind of mistake. And I'll never forget seeing this on the news. These people's home got foreclosed on after they had paid their property off. So they got a judgment against Bank of America, and they were able to foreclose on that bank branch and take it over. But that took them having that court order, going down to law enforcement saying, hey, we got this court order. And then the law enforcement had to enforce that court order.
How do you undo, Brother Kelly? Here's the thing. How do you undo all of the crazy stuff that's going on? Look like we're gonna really have the disease that's upon us right now. Of course, it's measles, but we're gonna have other health challenges. We're gonna have, man. Look at here. This is, got to think when it is March. Hurricane season starts here June 1.
And most of Noah's been fired.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shayla and I had the same conversation.
National Weather Service.
Most of Noah has been
and
fired.
NOAA, y'all, is National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. You find all of these people who, I got a buddy of mine, he lived for a long time in Kansas City, Missouri, and he now lives in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And he told me, man, I could never live in Florida. So y'all got hurricanes.
I got tornadoes.
That's what I reminded him. And I said, man, look, I spent a summer in Oklahoma. But Kelly, when a tornado's coming, you got 5-10 minutes max of warning. You better be scurrying, making your way in down into, they don't say basement out there, they say cellar.
Mm-hmm.
But you better be doing your best to get out of harm's way. Doc, we start tracking hurricanes when they start as waves off the coast of Africa. You see what I'm saying?
So we have days of warning.
Right.
We have days of warning.
Right. So I don't know. I heard somebody ask me, I think it was the day I had breakfast with a bunch of guys. Somebody asked a question. Are we going to survive all of the damage that this guy is doing? And I told him, yes, we'll survive.
We're going to survive.
We're going to survive it. But it's going to be a heck of a mess unscrambling it and getting through it, putting stuff back together. It's nothing short of wild, man. You see where the website for Arlington National Cemetery has been scrubbed of all reference to blacks and women. So in other words, we don't matter. We haven't done anything. You know what I'm saying?
Just remind people of all the inventions and things that listen, the reason why we got light in the studio because a black man discovered the filament that Thomas Edison used in the light bulb. So
Louis Latimer, come on now.
So listen,
Doc, look here. Black man,
on and on and on and on.
Black man discovered potato chips, the golf tee,
peanut butter.
I'm talking about lesser known stuff. I'm talking about the real stuff. The lubrication system for train engines and motors. Elijah McCoy. That's why when people tried to duplicate it or come up with something, they labeled his as the real McCoy. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
The gas mask to stop.
Yeah. That's Garrett Morgan. I was at a graveside. Well, we've already had the funeral service in church. So we at the cemetery. Doctor, you know that neat contraption where you flip the switch and the casket
lower down into the ground.
Black man. You see what I mean? Refrigeration, air conditioning. Call a roll. And we don't matter. But hey, I guess it's gonna do you some good to pretend, or let's just Let's just get rid of that.
Pastor Earl, have you ever seen the movie? What is it? It leaves my. I was just thinking about this the other day. Gladiator.
Sure.
Okay. Remember when Marcus Aurelius, before he died, before his son killed him, and he talked about what Rome really was. Rome was an idea that existed in the hearts and minds of people in such a place that it became enforceable reality. This is what America was and where we've gotten away from. When the hearts and the minds of people are not convinced of what we are and who we are as a country, we're lost. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the same. It's the same reason why we have unruly children.
Mm-hmm. Did you see 60 Minutes last night?
No, I missed it last night.
Told a story of a talented group of young people, musicians, all across the country, minorities of all kinds of stripes. Mm-hmm. You know, African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans.
Right.
These kids, because of their music skills, were chosen to perform with the creme de la creme, the United States Marine Band.
Mm-hmm.
And because of one of Trump's executive orders, that whole thing was scrapped. No more concert. We're not going to do it. So here's what happened. CBS paid for all of those young people to assemble in Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, the current members of the U.S. Marine Band are still under the leadership of the commander-in-chief. So they couldn't play. But what did they do? They got retired members. The United States Marine Corps Band joined these young people after practice and everything, and they put on the concert that had been scrubbed through the. I mean, there's so much crazy stuff going on, and Kelly, you better believe it's a part of a scheme. It's a part of a plan that it's hectic. It's chaotic, and you really, literally can't keep up with it.
Let me tell you what I believe, Pastor Burrell. This is what I believe in my heart of hearts. The man is throwing so much distractions at us. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is what I believe in my heart of hearts. We are going to, the general public is going to eat up the distractions by Donald Trump and Elon Musk rob this country. I believe that.
Well, not only that, but set the tone for him being 45-47 to be a dictator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've said it. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is wait until it's going to happen sometime in between. And again, I'm predicting that sometime in between the midterm elections and when it's time for him to be reelected, we're going to have some kind of national tragedy or national. There's a movie called, I know I like movie references, Wag the Dog, Richard Dreyfuss, where they create this fake war in this country that he's ruling so he can stay in power. This is, and again, all he has to do is stop the election. That's all he has to do. There's going to be, I'm telling you, Mark, this is what I feel is going to happen. Mark my word. They're going to try to privatize Social Security so they can rob that bank. This is what's going to happen. And let me tell you something. My white counterparts, y'all need to wake up.
Well, they are. They are. Listen, there's been a nice job of suppressing what a lot of people other than us who have been hurt by what's going on. I saw a lady last week. I voted for him in 2016, voted for him in 2020. I voted for him again in 2024. He said, but he's taking my job now. Like, oh, as long as he's taking other folks' job, it was all right. But now he done whacked you upside the head and put a foot in the seat of your pants. So, now it's a crisis. It's an issue.
Well, we told you this was coming. He told you it was coming.
Sure enough.
He said this was coming. The man said, I am going to wreak retribution on those people who are against me in any way, shape, or form. Now he's even the lawyer firm that he's trying to pass some kind of ruling against the whatever this lawyer firm, and I don't have all the details because I saw it in the blurb on the news. But who is in place to stop the president? Congress could have.
Congress have abdicated their role. Congress controls the purse, but they're not doing anything.
Well, their justification in passing the budget was the fact that, I am paraphrasing, but my understanding is that they did this because they didn't want to see more Americans hurt. But there's not going to be any less Americans getting hurt. There should have been a government shutdown. I'll tell you why. People going to get hurt regardless. We all feel the economic crunch right now because things are more expensive. Everything is going up except for our pay. So we're already feeling it. And even, listen, teachers, paraprofessionals, teachers' assistants, custodians, librarians,
cafeteria workers, bus drivers.
We're next. And I'll tell you straight, I'll go Lyft drive.
But look, man, does America ultimately benefit from the chaos? Are we asking that question?
Pastor Burrell, well, here's the real question you got to ask. Whose America benefits from the chaos? Is it yours or mine? Or is it in the long run, the 1% or whatever that percentage is?
My wife, we have cards for both BJ's and Costco. This happened to be at BJ's. And I said, darling, get some eggs. She said, okay. This was last week. Kelly, 18 eggs were $22. 24 eggs was $32. You know what I'm saying? So, trying to turn that on. I know who it is. Got it. Y'all, I saw eggs for $6.99 at Winn-Dixie, and also $6.99, although there's a sign at Walmart saying 1 dozen per person. So if you got 2 or 3 people in your party, you better let each one of them get a dozen, to have some extra at your house. It's wild, man. It is wild.
Let me tell you something. They have given this man the proverbial blank check, and nobody is stopping him from cashing it in. Nobody. And I wish, I would be honest with you, I wish Congress would have gave him a shutdown. Because here's the thing. We're already bleeding. A couple extra drops of blood ain't gonna hurt if it's gonna benefit us in the long. Because he's already taking people at the jugular, and it will continue. And then watch, just like you said. Here's another example.
Mm-hmm.
The people that he had deported, and they were in court while the plane was still on the runway. The plane got in the air. The judge ruled that
Turn the plane around.
even if they were up in the air, turn them around and return them back.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? He didn't stop the plane. And I don't know, again, I don't know the ins and outs, the details of the individuals. Supposedly they were drug dealers or members of a gang, which are considered on this terrorist list. Okay, I get it. I understand. But what does that say about our process as a government? Again, your Constitution is being eaten away like rats. And every day that we go along, all the things that have been put in place that gives us our freedoms. Every day, this man has said, I'm going to make my own rules. You cannot stop me. I'm above the law. What I say goes. And it's not going to stop until somebody stops him, or we have such a mass movement. Want me to tell you something? Instead of us doing the black boycott, the whole country should boycott. Nobody spent any money for 48 hours. Every single average, everyday person, middle class person, upper middle class, whatever you want to have, all of those who are not rich. Because the reality is this country runs off the little guy. The poor folk.
That's right.
The middle class, the working class. Those of you who are making $250,000 or $400,000, this country runs on your money. Stop for 48 hours. Black folks, white folks, Hispanic, Asians. Stop for 48 hours.
Or just do essential shopping.
No.
Essential.
You got to listen. You got to realize you're dealing with a tyrant. You can't give them just a little bit. You got to go all the way in and say, listen, we're not gonna spend no money for 48 hours. And we may extend it longer. And here's our demands. This is one of the things that I've said. This is why I said I'm not marching. I'm not protesting. Listen, them folks don't care about Million Man marches, Million Woman marches. They don't care. If you ain't marching with your money, they don't care. The only thing you become is a blurb in the news. And that's all that's going to happen. If you're not protesting in a place where your adversary will recognize you and recognize that I need to stop and listen and maybe listen to your demands, there is nothing they can see other, because let me tell you something, with the stock market plummeting the way that it has been doing with all the indexes that are down, that's when you start.
Been up the last 2 days.
Yeah. But it also hit an all-time low since what? The lowest point is, I don't remember what the date was, but it hit all the gains that it had gained had disappeared.
Wiped out.
Which now you start seeing when you start seeing that happens, look at your 401k in the past 30 days and look what it's done. My 403b, I haven't even looked at it. I already know.
Taking a hit.
It's taking a hit. It's taking a hit. Now they're calling it an adjustment.
Oh, it's just an adjustment.
Is that like being a little pregnant?
Yeah.
So does that mean our eggs have taken an adjustment?
Yeah, they take no adjustment. A big one.
Our interest rates have taken an adjustment. Our people that have gotten laid off or fired, is that just an adjustment? No, it's change. It's change. And it's change for the worst. It's change for the worst. And I think as a people, and when I say people, I ain't just talking about black folks, as Americans, we've got to get together and stop it. And the only way that we're going to stop is you got to hit them where it hurts. And that's in the pocket. You think about a boxing match. When you putting up your dukes and they tell you to protect yourself at all times, that other boxer, he's trying to hit you in the face. Or hit you. He's going for the gut and the head. And if you notice, that's sending them jabs and making space so you can put that hook in there and knock you down.
He ain't trying to knock you down, knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mm-hmm. Mama said, knock you out. Come on.
So we gotta be ready to knock them out. We have got to be ready to knock them out. And the only way that's gonna happen is economically. That is the only way. This is what I've said all along, because it is the only thing that they recognize. Well, and I'll give you the best example. Donald Trump turned the White House into a car lot, because Elon Musk has taken such a hit in his business. Matter of fact, I don't remember how many billions it was. I want to say in like the past 30 days, this man, and keep in mind, this is the richest man in the world. And I think they said he lost something like over $100 billion in the past 30 days. So he's not going to show it.
Man, you call it genius, call it whatever you want to. That Cybertruck got to be the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I laugh every time. I saw one on the way here today. I laugh every time I see one.
I guess it's just the fact that I got something different that other people don't have. You couldn't give me one of them things, man. Ooh-wee. Have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Have mercy.
You know what else is interesting about Musk? The fact that I heard someone say the other day, well, they got the astronauts back and Trump sent his rocket up. He saved them. Hello, wasn't it his rocket that wasn't working that got him stuck up there anyway? I mean, how one-dimensional is our memory? You know, do we look at just what just happened, or do we look at the cause? You had people that were in outer space for 9 months because your rocket kept blowing up. So he had an obligation to go to make sure that those people were brought back. But again, we got to march with our money. That's the resolve. Got to march with your money. And until we do that as a people, and again, I'm not talking about the darker hue that's in this room. I'm talking about every single person in these United States of America, because it is now hit home. Your skin tone don't even matter at this point, because we all feeling the crunch. All of us. Now y'all know how black folks feel. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Nothing against my white brothers and sisters, but here's the other thing of it. As a black person, we have it worse because our history is being erased. Our history is being erased, and what was it? The person who was in control controls the narrative. As our conversation started earlier, all the things, DEI was just a cover up to make everything go away.
It's a new boogeyman.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. It's the new boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new boogeyman. So,
yeah, woke. DEI. I'll go back to Lee Atwater, the Southern Strategy. Bussin'. You told them. You can't just come right out and call folk the N-word anymore. You know, that's out of vogue. But you can say, women on welfare. You can say busing. You can say, come on now.
Women on welfare.
I think it was Ronald Reagan who gave us the term welfare queen.
I don't know, Pastor Burrell. March with your money.
All right.
That's all it's going to take. I wish I had some other different plan to share with people, some other resolve or some other option to give you. But I can tell you, it ain't standing in front of Trump Towers holding up your sign. It ain't standing in front of the White House mark and picketing. It's not. Now, that'll get some attention. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. But what's the next step? If you ain't marching with your money, you ain't marching at all. And I've said that all along. I've said that. I've been saying that for years. But now you see why I said it. Because the marching that was done in the 60s was needed. Because, you know why? Because people felt the moral obligation, at least some people, for change. We've got to get back to being a moral country. Because again, like I said, we are morally inept as the United States of America because we have a sycophant. We have the idiots are in charge of the asylum. Not even the inmates, the idiots. And those of you, listen, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. Did not. And we got what we got because we did what we did.
Or what we didn't do.
Or even better, what we didn't do. That's right, because those of you who did not vote might as well have voted for Donald Trump because you got the same results. Not lack of participation is participation in the opposite direction. And that's what we got. So the next move is if we're gonna make a change, we got to march with our money. That's the only way this is gonna change. Just looking at a blur. Somebody pick up and just start following us. Thank you. By the way, you guys hit the share button. I know some of you guys are going to watch this later on the podcast as it airs on YouTube and on all the different platforms. Click share. Share this on your platform. So let me see. We're getting close to that because it's almost 6 o'clock. We're getting close to that time. Yeah. Pastor, well, you know what? I'm one thing I'm grateful for, Pastor Burrell, is that regardless of what happens, my faith gets me through.
Man, rock solid. Rock solid.
It's
David said, Psalm 37:25, I've been young, now I'm old, but I've not seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging for bread. God will take care of his own. He will. You got to believe that. Beyond believing it, you got to know it. But you know what? You got to live like you believe it. That your trust is in him. Some people trust in horses and chariots, but we will trust in the name of the Lord. Psalm 20, verse 7. Hey, you got to hold on to God and don't turn loose.
Now, that part is true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That part is very true.
Yes, sir.
Hold on to the Lord and don't turn them loose.
Don't turn them loose.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
Have mercy. Have mercy.
Listen, like I tell everybody, there's the preach doctor. We gonna be all right.
Who said that?
That's Dozell.
That's right. That's right. That's my man.
Let me put this up here. Let people see what I'm sharing it on the screen, and I'm pulling it off so I can read what one of his first comments that let's look at it. Yeah. Come on, where'd it go? We'll always be, let's see, what is it? We'll always be in the present and has a spineless Congress because everyone's scared. See, I ain't got my glasses on. I'm trying to. So basically, he's saying that let's see, will always be
I saw a piece of it. Huh?
yeah, Supreme Court.
I'm trying to.
Narcissist. He said the president is a narcissist and has a spineless Congress because everyone's scared to be.
I thought all I needed to do was just drag to the left, but whatever reason that ain't working for me today.
Hey, you're right. Dozel's right. We're gonna be all right.
Sure we are.
But we gotta stay prayed.
Sure
up.
we are.
We gotta stay prayed up and keep our faith in place.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Because listen, like I tell everybody, you know what? We need to stand closer to God more than we've ever needed to stand in my lifetime right now.
Doc, we say it a lot of times. It's real now.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, if we ever needed you before, we sure do need you now.
Like you said, it's real.
Come on, Doc.
Can't get no realer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If there is such a word, can't get no realer than what it is right now. Pastor Real, where can they get some of that real word to help them get through?
Living Waters Christian Fellowship, 4501 North State Road 7, also known as US 441, beautiful city of Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, at the Central Charter School, building number 5.
And how are things at the new charter school?
Man, you ain't been by there to check it out.
I have not.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
You know, Boyd Anderson been keeping me a little wrapped up.
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing, Doc. The legacy that Dr. Rosa Lawson left behind. Because people still ask about her, inquire about her. And for them, the message is the same. Come check it out.
You know what? I'm gonna add to that. Thank goodness that we had a Rosa Lawson and those people, other people who we're not naming at this point, who set a path of excellence so that our children can receive the best educationally and any otherwise. And that's one of the things that and not to toot my own horn, I try to give these kids the best because somebody gave me their best.
That's right.
And their best gave me an opportunity.
That's right.
So, by the way, working on having another luncheon before the end the school year at the Tower Club.
Amen. I see you with your towel.
Yeah, I got my 5,000 role models towel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what we're looking at doing is doing another on April the 14th, whatever that Friday is.
Okay.
But with Dr. Williams and bringing another group because the kids that didn't get a chance to go are now eager to go because they heard what the other kids learned. So now everybody wants to jump in. So we're gonna try to pull it off, and we're gonna make it happen. And let me tell you this: there are obstacles in the way because I just found out we ain't even got money in the budget for a bus. But guess what? He gonna provide. He always does.
Come on now, watch yourself now.
Yeah, when I was. You know,
the old preacher said Genesis 22:14. One of the first names we get of God, very first verse, Elohim. Now majesty, plurality of majesty. Genesis 22, Jehovah Jireh, which translated the Lord will provide. That's Abraham. Call him to the stand and ask him. You're getting ready to sacrifice your son. When you draw the knife back, over than the thickets is a ram caught by his horns. God said, I know you love me now. You know, sacrifice your son, your only son. Boy, if that ain't a precursor to who Jesus is, God sent his only begotten son.
You know, I never thought about it like
God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Amen. The Greek word monogenes. Monogenes. One gene, one of a kind, unique, special.
Right.
My. That's the God we serve.
So I will remind us. I remind us to stay in faith. And remember, God will provide.
Yes, he will.
Listen, I know, and don't, and I know I'm always happy, but I go through some rough times too. But you know what?
We all do.
And every single time, God is
Man came to my house. That's a new story for next week. Man came to my house last Thursday. He's supposed to be just servicing my system, but he's there to tell me I need a whole new system.
Mhm.
Well, if I need a new system, fine. But you don't sabotage what I already got to try to make me have to do something even quicker or faster than I want to, just because you want to line your pocket.
There it is. Listen, we will check you guys out right here next Monday. Living the Christ Radio Ministries with Pastors Rashid by Ethan Anthony Morel. I'm the man behind the microphone, Big Man Kelly. Hey, find you a word church. Find your church home.
You better do that.
It'll change your life.
Better do that.
I know, because it changed mine.
There's a storm out on the ocean and it's moving this way. If your soul ain't anchored in Jesus, it'll surely drift away. Yes, sir.
Drop the mic on that one, Pastor.
Drop the mic. Drop it. Boom.
We'll see you guys next Monday right here. Living the Christ Radio Ministries. Peace.
Yes, sir.